Right, the hand. So I was in the FE debate just doing what I do, giving the real truth, and some guy, Bad Bear, was listening to what I said. I was like, huh, you're right. So we super chatted at Nathan, how do we measure this 14.7 psi of pressure at atmosphere that you say we have? And I respond, because I know what people are going to say. They'll say barometer, okay? But 14.7 is a value that you need from a pressure gauge. So a barometer, let's go take a look at one. All right, and I'm not seeing any pressure values. It says room pressure down, internal pressure down, but where's the 5, the 10, the 15, the 20? I'm not seeing it here. Huh. Up at the top, read Bad Bear. He's wondering why nobody's answering his super chat, because they won't. They'll just try and skim over it real quick, let it sit on the back burner, and then just gloss over it, right? They wouldn't do that, would they? Now, they laughed at Rumpus when he said air isn't the atmosphere, but a barometer measures air pressure, not gauge pressure. So you're never going to use a barometer to measure like the pressure of your tire or something like that. You would need a gauge pressure. And then gauge pressure is totally different than barometric pressure, because air is an uncompressed gas and gases can be compressed or uncompressed. Now they will say that, oh, because there's near pure vacuum in the area, that's what's creating blah blah blah, but we know that's not true, because if it was a near vacuum, then water would be boiling, and you'll say it's mercury, but you can do the same thing with a siphon and water, and the water doesn't boil. So that means that it's not a vacuum in there, or at least not near as pure as one as they think, or what they say, the mechanism that they say is not the same. Okay, so now knowing that a gauge pressure is needed for the value, and a barometer will only measure the changes in the liquid that is inside of it based on the expansion and contraction of the atmosphere as a free uncompressed gas, let's see how Nathan handles this super chat.
I will read out your super chats, by the way. I have seen them going by. So yeah, beds to bear, is it? How can you measure 14.7 psi at sea level? Barometer. I'll get to David Raki Gafford in a moment before I lose track. I've already lost track. What the hell was I babbling about?
Now that sounded like somebody who was trying to put as little as tension as possible onto his answer and then get away from it as quickly as possible. Like he just said, barometer wasn't even like, it was almost one syllable, barometer, and then just moved on, because he knows a barometer doesn't measure gauge pressure. It only shows the value of a liquid with the assumption and faith in the effect that what you believe is the cause. And can we get cause from effect?
Fuck no!
So a barometer isn't a pressure gauge, so why are you using a barometer to prove pressure? And then you're going to say that air isn't the atmosphere, but use the atmospheric measuring device to prove gauge pressure. Good job, dumbass. Alright, so basically Anthony Riley had a one-on-one with me, but it was only through chat. And if you're going to chat, just have me on the show and we'll talk. But no, you don't want me to be able to freely express my abilities. You want to sustain me to typing in words where I'm a horrible speller. I can barely get across the points that I'm trying to make, but verbally I can articulate what I want to say very quickly and easily. So try and keep him away from his strong points as much as you can and focus his abilities into typing where he fails and flutters, but that's okay, I'll do my best. So I'm going to respond to his bullshit responses in my verbal form so I can be at peak performance in terms of rebuttal to claims against me. So let's listen to Anthony Riley and then I'll rebut as he goes.
Right the hand, you e-beg for money all the time. Really? Where? How?
Alright, unless I'm mistaken and that's not your fat face and $2,300 of e-begging money, find me anywhere where Right the Hand is asked for a handout. Okay, so you're a liar. Where? How? Right there.
No super chat down here, is there? Not monetized. There's no adverts in my videos. There's no monetization. Where do I e-beg for money? I don't need the money. I've got a chunk of money in the bank, and I'm kind of half retired, mate. I don't need any money. I don't beg for money. I don't need any money. Trolls love when you acknowledge them and pay them attention to. Yeah, I know, but he's supposed to be a flat earther, isn't he? He is a troll. Right to hand, e-begging. Really? Where? How many GoFundMes have you had? One. So you support trannies? Yes, I support trannies' rights to be a tranny if they want.
There is no such thing as a tranny. There's male and female. You're supporting men being called women and vice versa. Why would somebody want something that isn't something to be what it's not? So they can make something else that's not something else.
I want to be a duck. I support their right to be a duck.
You don't have a right to be a duck. You have a right to exist as a person. You don't have a right to become another species or anything that you want. That's fantasy. That's not a right.
So if the Earth wants to be a ball, it can be a ball. That's not, no, don't be silly.
If a person can be a duck when they're a person, why can't the Earth be a ball when it's flat? It's the same logic, you fat tranny.
So if a woman wants to be a man, she is a man. If a woman wants to be a man, she is a man. No. If a woman wants to be a man, that's her choice. If she wants to try and present herself as a man, it's her choice.
And if gravity wants to be a force and people want it to be a force, does that make it a force because that's what they want? No.
Choice, and it's none of your business. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. Doesn't mean I have to accept it. It's her choice.
You accept it when you address a man as a she. That's how you accept it. That's accepting it. If I said the earth is a ball, that would be me accepting the earth is a ball. I say the earth isn't a ball because I don't accept that it is a ball, so I don't call it a ball. So you accept that a man can be a woman because you call a man a woman.
In the same way that I don't agree with it, but it's their choice. It's called being diverse.
But it's your choice on whether you choose to allow their reality to become your reality and the reality when you address a man as a woman. So yes, it's their choice if they want to think they're a duck, but it's my choice to tell them that they're wrong and that they are not. Same with being a man or a woman. You don't choose whether you're a man or a woman. God chooses that for you.
It's called live and let live. It's none of my business if they want to change their sex.
It's none of your business, but you will not speak to me because I won't call a man a woman. And you're saying, oh, well, it's not my business. But it is. Look how it influences everything that you do. You've picked a side on not the side of truth. I'm staying on the side of truth. A man cannot be a woman, so I will not call a man a woman. You, well, I don't agree with it, but I'll agree with what she wants. He, she, doesn't even matter, right?
I don't agree with changing their gender. What they were born with, if they were born male, they're male. But if they want to try and change their sex because of reasons, then that's up to them.
And this is how you know this motherfucker is controlled, pushing this tranny bullshit, right? About, oh, we can choose our gender but not our sex. He's just word obfuscating to conflate your personal belief in what you are to what you actually are. You can do it for gender, you can do it for race, you can do it for age, pedos, you can do it for eye color. I personally believe that I am black. Everybody else would disagree. So what you personally believe is not reality.
In a sec then, I'm not a flat earther.
I am not a flat earther. Flat earthers are what they label you as, the person who thinks there's a flat disc floating in space and there's a ball of light spinning above it and yada yada. Bro, there's mountains and valleys. The earth isn't flat. It is a plane with conformities and valleys and all of this different things, okay? Stop trying to label everybody so you can put people in a group and then attack the group and strawman everything.
Not a flat earther. Thinking a man is a woman is a mental disorder. No, I don't think a man is a woman. There is a difference between thinking that your sex can change, male to female, and thinking your gender identification can change. If you want to change your sex biologically, I don't know if you can do it 100% biologically or not.
Bro, your gender is determined biologically by hormones, chromosomes, and shit. You think you can change your chromosomes? You can insert an X? Come on, dude.
But you can do all the bits and pieces to make it look like you're female. And that is changing your sex. But I don't agree with the gender identity bullshit where you're a man and you want to identify as a female even though you're clearly a bloke.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. You're just switching sex and gender. But basically, it's you think a man could be a woman, they just have to put the wig on. This isn't about gender. This is about the start of, I can declare what I am. And once you could declare what you are, then the door is open to pedophilia. If a 69-year-old man can be 49, 49 can be 45, 45 can be 30, 30, 20, 30, 15, 15, 20, it's just numbers. These are just numbers. And this is what Anthony Riley is and his company is they know it because they're in it. They're Masons, but getting people subliminally to think that you choose your gender. Like, then you'll choose your age, then you'll choose your race, then you'll choose, well, age will be the last thing that you choose. It'll probably, it starts with gender, I guess. I don't know, like how that is any more fluid than age, you know? Maybe they'll start, what they might start doing to make younger people older is they'll, instead of the day you come out of the womb, they'll make it the day you were conceived. That'll make everybody 9 months younger in actuality, you know what I mean? So that'll be another start to the pedalization process of America and the world, because the devil runs everything. And if you're a Mason taking pictures with Mark Sargent, yes, you're a shill too.